All right, welcome back, guys. I thought I was gonna have time this evening to showcase my newest acquisitions for the last couple months. Unfortunately, because of some things going on here at the house, I'm not gonna be able to get to that tonight. But tomorrow, I will have those up and ready for you. But I've put together a nice little presentation here for you. Discovering Varieties is the title of the presentation, and what we're going to look at is repunched mint marks and over mint marks. And our primary target is going to be the any one of the Lincoln Cent series, whether it's the Wheats or Memorials. That is the aim for this video. So a lot of us search these penny boxes for a number of reasons. While not a financially, financial type of move that I would partake these days, which is searching copper, a lot of coin roll hunters certainly do go after the copper. Some go for the big chase pieces like the 92 cams, the 69S double die, the set 1972 Philadelphia double die, among other dates that command many hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So aside from looking through the regular zinc type coins that are just basic, they're general, they're worth only but a penny, to the copper, hoarding the copper pennies of pre-1982s, and looking for these high-end chase coins, so to speak, what exactly can we find that's right down the middle? There's got to be a nice common middle ground for variety hunting, so that way you feel like you're not going through $500 worth of pennies and not finding a damn thing. Okay, that could be discouraging. That's how I first started coin roll hunting over a decade ago, and it was tough. There were coins that I just really wanted to get, and some of them were just they're good to kind of dream, I guess. Because there are people that have found 92 cams and everything else out there, 99 wide AMs, and those are great, and they sell for quite a bit of money on the secondary market. But I started to research RPMs and OMMs is what they're called. So let's go ahead and take a look at this video, see how these things are produced at the mint, what causes these variations. Okay, so first and foremost, what are RPMs and over mint marks? Okay, so here's a couple key points to take into consideration about how it works. In the early days, and when I mean early days, I mean the 1800s, when the mint engravers started to place actual mint marks on coins, they used a punch, a long steel shaft with a letter at the end, and they tap it into the impression to leave an impression on the die. So oftentimes, if a mint engraver taps a mint mark and leaves an impression, but maybe it's a little off, or it's more tilted than it usually is, they have to tap in a secondary mint mark on top of the existing mint mark that they made a mistake on. So that's where you get the repunched mint mark or over mint mark. So errant or out of place punches mean that mint marks needed to be repunched, sometimes over the existing punch that had already happened. Okay, and another thing to keep in mind with RPMs is it's a human element to variety searching. So this is all simply human error. Okay, it may not be error. During those early days, it was vastly accepted among all of the other engravers and other workers at the mint, and it's accepted to the point where they don't have to redo the die in preparation for minting of coins. So let's take a look at a few examples. Okay, examples of RPMs. This is the 1956 D over D. So it's an RPM. You could see the underlying D, and they do it like compass points. So in this case, it's a D over D, okay, with a westward spread. So you could see the extra D west of the primary mint mark. So that's how the whole terminology goes down when we're talking about RPMs. So this is the primary RPM for 1956. Now keep in mind 1940s and 50s have the most amount of RPMs out of any decade of the Lincoln Cent series. And the websites I'm going to give you at the end of this video will help you find that out pretty quickly. So this is 1956 D over D RPM number 1. Here's another example right here. So it's a 54. So you have the primary D, and then you have the secondary D that's somewhat south and west. I think on this one they do call it south, but it kind of adjusts west. So you can see this extra D right here. And by the way, if you're searching RPMs, and RPMs exist all the way up until I think 1986 or 87, when they were still tapping these letters in the dies. Afterwards, they were created as part of the die using computer laser etching and engraving and everything else. Okay, so that's a 1954 D over D RPM. The next one, here's a little bit older date. So we have a 1944 D over D. The underlying D, the original D, is north on this one. So that's a 1944 D over D. So what happened is they punched this first D, this thinner looking one, made a mistake. Maybe the adjustment was off or whatever, or one of the managers had quality controlled the die and saw that it was out of place, and they had them repunch it. So that's where the other D comes into play. Alright, now there is the off chance that there could be an underlying horizontal D. So let's say someone tapped in the mint mark onto the die and they didn't pay attention of what direction the D was. That's where it starts out as a D that's horizontally placed, and then they have to redo the mint mark on top of that. So it's a pretty neat variety. This particular one is the 1943 D over horizontal D RPM. The horizontal variety of RPM commands a little bit more money, especially for the steel cent series like the 1943. These command pretty good money in mint state, several $100s. Now if you're looking for something that's a little bit much like the 43, but you want it on a little bit modern flavor, how about 1961? These I guarantee you could still find out in circulation. You have a horizontal D that's underneath the primary mint mark before they redid the mint mark. So this is 1961 D over horizontal D RPM, and a lot of these varieties are in the Cherry Picker's Guide. So they are recognized varieties, and they command the most money because they're in the top, I guess, quote unquote 100 varieties. Now here's another RPM that's a little bit dramatic. This is the 1956 D over D, and as you can see, there's a completely separate D that's not even underneath the primary D. This one is dubbed number 8 in the RPMs of 1956, and I've found a few of these, and I've sold these in regular circulated shape for anywhere from $25 to $35. I've sold an uncirculated example of this coin that I found in a BU roll for about $150. So coins such as this, if you saw a whole bunch of 1956 Ds or 55 Ds in a roll, I guarantee you this is certainly worth a check. Alright, so the next one we're going to talk about over mint marks. Okay, this is the most popular over mint mark in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series. So 1944, you have a D, and then you have an S right underneath it. So it's a D over S. And that's what this one looks like, and you've probably seen this in the Red Book if you have an issue of that price guide. And I've found a few of these as well. Here's the other 1944 D over S. As you can see, there's the underlying S on this example, and this is over mint mark version number 2 for that date. Okay, and here's some final key points about what I've talked about. Final key points. Value is determined by the market, not a reference book or website, so that's important for you to know. Just because an RPM is popular and it looks great, it's very dramatic, doesn't mean you're going to command a lot of money for it. It really matters how many other examples are for sale out there. Next, some RPMs sell for as little as 50 cents. But at the same token, a lot of them sell, anywhere from 50 cents to several $100s. Of course, condition and popularity play huge roles in this. And the final key point is searching for RPMs and over mint marks are a great alternative to searching for the high-end chase pieces. The key dates, 92 cam, the popular double dies. So this is definitely something to take into consideration. All right, and finally, here's some useful reference websites that I use. Copper Coins, probably the most comprehensive. LincolnCentResource.com has a great message board with other searchers of these varieties, and of course you have Double Die and Variety Vista. And be sure to check with all the popular message board sites. People talk about these varieties on a daily basis, and have fun. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a private message or just respond below in the comment box. And I appreciate you guys taking your time to watch the video. And I'll see you soon.